Hello everyone, it's time for the opinion, as the Gen Zs will say, oh. Yes, my name is Samwaki Tete and I'm not doing this show alone. I'm doing this with my beautiful co-presenters and they are...
Zipporah Osaiwate.
Definitely Zipporah is sitting in for Zinat. Hello Zinat, we move to...
Tina Mulika.
Zainab Aisha Passa.
Okay, so Zainab has spoken and that's it. It's time. We are still in the political season, even though we know our winners, but I think there are still some constituencies under contention. So yes, it's in due time that we discuss this very pressing topic. What do you think about the whole electioneering? I'm talking the 2024 elections, looking at the campaign, the election results, and everything concerning it, all the brouhaha. So we are not going to do this discussion alone. Of course, we need somebody who is in the helm of affairs to help us dissect the issues to the latter. And I have here with us Dr. Kofi Annan, and he is a politician and a consultant. Doc, welcome to The Opinion.
Thank you for the opportunity. Well, this thing is like...
you are
sandwiched you nicely.
Heavily.
We've sandwiched you nicely.
Yes.
But wait, you're surviving.
Exactly.
Oh, doctor, I'll be okay.
What was that? Doctor is looking all demure, all cutesy, you know.
Very demure. You know what I'm saying?
But we'll see if that is how he actually speaks.
When
actually is. So yeah, we are
things.
looking at the campaign and the electioneering. Let me take your thoughts on the whole process. What do you make of that?
All right, so thank you for the opportunity. I think that the elections generally was okay. This time around, we had a campaign where, for me, it looked more issue-based.
That's right.
And it wasn't the usual, we are YC, we are Kofa and all those things, you know. It looked more educating. And people, you had to just make a decision between a certain digitalization and a 24-hour economy and some 12 disciple agenda coming from the cheddar, I mean, and all of that Afafranto, which has it had the Great Transformational Plan, the GTP, and all that. So it was good. Generally, it was good. We had a lot of walks, and it became like a trend for me, and so interesting that I didn't know where that style of campaigning emerged from. But generally, I can say that it was quite good.
Aisha, do you find it exciting? The whole process.
I'm excited. Like he said, I mean, hey, we voted based on issues, you know, and not on looks. And not on, ethnicity, tribalism, and all those things. So I think that all the candidates had, policies, and so it is who was able to sell themselves better to the ordinary Ghanaian. And so, for all that is worth, I think that Ghana has spoken, and I'm excited to be here because for me, as a journalist, I mean, Samuki, you remember 8 years ago, we were entangled, you know, in seeing people still voting because this person comes from where I come from, or because my parents are. I
think we've even had that discussion.
We've had that, and because my parents are NDC or MPP, I don't have a choice. I need to vote there as well, and all that. So I think that we've become very discerning, and I'm happy to see this happen, you know, and it's just beautiful.
All right, so let me come to Zip. I like to call you Zip, you know. So what do you think? Is it that we are discerning because of the kind of situation people find themselves in, or they just think that they've been maybe deceived enough, so it's time to look at policies? What do you think is accounting for this discernment?
Well, I believe in this election, this past election, you didn't even need anyone to convince you.
I didn't doubt.
And decide. So that was what happened. But I would like to commend the citizenry. It was peaceful to a large extent. I mean, there were some chaos here and there because of the delay by the EC and all that. But for that, everything would have been peaceful. I mean, you go and vote and just go back home, you know, waiting to hear. Waiting to hear what you want to hear, you know. Yeah.
Let me bring Tina in here. Tina, when it comes to the results, did you anticipate this? kind of result
Oh yes. If you ask,
with the margin that we had.
I did.
Okay.
Because you know,
And then now who be there?
yes. No, listen. When you follow politics in Ghana for a long time, let's be honest. Look at what happened even in 2016, where we had NDC in power. The traits, what they exhibited in the past, looking at the affluence, getting all the musicians, the big concerts, the big campaign, the big billboards, and that time, because they knew they were in power and then they were okay to some extent, the president didn't pay attention at some point, and then that's where the
Mahama
complacency.
paper. Those were the Mahama paper
When
days.
so complacency set in, and then they were not even listening, and then people said, "Okay, we'll take
show
power
you
from you."
shake
And
it.
look at what happened. Look at the margin, over 1 million votes at that time. And when you look at Ghana after Nana Akufo-Addo, 8 years under Akufo-Addo, the same concern people were saying, we are hungry, oh, you say free SHS. Nana, we are suffering, oh, free SHS. Nana, we can't buy electricity, you say free SHS. Everything free
One
SHS.
district, one down.
Or 35. To be very honest.
So too much.
Yeah, to be very, very honest, because some of us that are privy to visiting villages, we go there, and even the SHS, free SHS, then it's not even going down well at the grassroots because people feel it's not free. So I was expecting even a very small, like a bigger margin than what we've been expecting, because to be honest, the hardship and everything, you pass everywhere. People that are not supposed to even ask you for money will call you, and then the one buamia mean didi. It was sad. I mean, Ghana was in a condition that, to be honest, we needed a change of government.
Tina,
and this is
I'm
what,
sorry to cut you, but you said what? We are here. We are still here.
yeah.
It-
No,
the
now
election
that
is
no,
just a
now
week.
it's not, we are done. But it's like if you talk to people, they feel like liberated already.
Yeah.
They feel like now that there's a new government, there's hope that there will be change.
There's a new wind.
Exactly.
People feel relaxed.
Even the mentality to know that okay, next year I am not going to be under this government alone brings some kind of relief.
Someone I remember
I'm
one
serious.
of these commercial drivers said it looks like they have uprooted something, like they are
And they are
liberated,
okay.
they are free.
Exactly.
All right, so Doc, you are a politician. I want to find out. Tina mentioned the fact that in 2016 we observed certain things, big billboards during certain, campaign periods. I mean, when the parties were having their delegate, was it conference or congress, however they call it, NDC had all those big billboards, and MPP was complaining about that.
Exactly.
And we saw the sort of spending that was going on at the time, and the sort of like pride and arrogance at the time, and the ego. And 8 years down the line, the same thing NDC did. We saw MPP doing that, probably times 2 or maybe 3, as people put it. And all the results were showing, the polls that were going on at the time was telling really that if you don't take care, you will lose this election. But they still didn't listen. What do you think makes politicians do that when it's so glaring?
I personally have a different opinion to this assertion.
Okay.
I don't think that mounting huge billboards or running, so to speak, a flamboyant campaign. I don't know what that even means. I don't know what is in the definition of a flamboyant campaign. Because really, when you are doing a campaign, you are marketing a product. And so, if you are marketing a product, you have to spend to market it. You get it? That is my opinion. And so
you think it's good to have the billboards?
yes,
where
it's good.
bad?
It's a marketing.
But what if the
feel
people,
like you're spending our money.
people think that you are spending their
The
money
taxpayers' money.
on the billboards?
That's what I'm saying.
Because
That
you're
I don't
in
believe that was the reason why Ghanaians voted against the MP.
It was
No,
one.
I think it's one of the
One of the
reasons.
reasons.
Because you remember
Well,
that when
I
the
think that it
NDC
didn't even
personally,
play a
I'm
role.
coming. When
That's
the,
my opinion.
no, I get it.
It
But
did.
Let me just take you down memory lane. You know that when the MPP was having their delegates conference or something,
Yes.
Koforidua,
Yes.
when they were choosing the party chairman and all that,
Yeah.
they did these big billboards. And then there was this white man, I've forgotten who he was, came and then he spoke about the fact that, I mean, they have spent so much money on it, and it became something that went viral at the time.
Exactly.
So I don't think that it doesn't count at all, but I think it creates
Was
a
it
certain
because the white man said
perception.
it?
Oh no! It's something that people had. I mean, he was the one who said it openly. But when you listen to discussions on all the radio stations,
I
and all
understand
that,
you, but I'm
but
saying
I
that
get you.
I don't get it. Like, if I'm running
So why do you do the same thing?
See, you see, most of the billboards you even see in town, are not even funded by the politicians themselves.
Okay.
They are funded by businessmen and people, friends, cronies, and all of those people. What I want to say simply is that I don't think that the running of the campaign, maybe billboards, huge billboards, and putting musicians, because listen, these elections and subsequent elections to come, there will be the need to fall on creatives to do different things for these political parties. The creatives will do adverts, do write songs and stuff for.
Does it really count?
Yeah, it counts.
Otherwise, somebody would have said that if you look at, let's compare to the US, for example, we had all these celebrities backing Kamala, but it didn't translate into votes.
No, I'm saying that the creatives, what they do, you understand? You would want to get a musician, say for example Nasi, to do a song for you.
Of course, we can't leave them.
You get it. You want to get.
They didn't work.
No, but the Sifia was not commissioned by the MPP.
Yeah.
It was somebody's
they
work.
were kind of using, but they used it.
Exactly.
It wasn't a campaign song, but they used
They
it.
used it.
It's like the way Nana
you get it.
all right.
So what I'm trying to say is that personally, I don't believe that Ghanaians voted because they felt that their living conditions were bad. Maybe there was too much corruption in the system.
How did they perceive the corruption? How did they see it? How do we see? Because we all hear corruption. How do people see that there's corruption in the system?
I know where you want to go, but the fact that I'm spending money doesn't mean I'm corrupt.
No, but I think that
we knew you before you came to power.
No,
we knew your the pattern of your spend.
The businesses now you own
you knew me before I came to power. But I'm saying that the businessmen who are funding some of these things.
But you're a politician, I get you.
No, but in the news, listen. In news, we realized, okay, that the president's daughter has been given a $34.9 million contract.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. And they've given this one to that. And we hear about that. So that is a corruption. It's not
yes, that is corruption.
Not billboards.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that the people, for me, I feel that Ghanaians voted because they felt the government was too corrupt. Their living conditions were bad. Free SHS, everything you say, free SHS, and all that. So for me, billboards and those things in India, it's a necessary evil. For me, if you ask me, if you are a marketer, you are selling your messages and all that, you need to mount a billboard for people to see what you are selling.
Okay, so I get your point, Tina. Now I want to. No, I haven't come to Aisha in a long time. So let me come to you, Aisha. It looks like Ghanaians were tired. That's the message we got. I mean, numbers speak a lot. So Ghanaians are tired, and people are hammered because they were tired and they think he can do better, or he's the only option they had.
Some idea.
A
critical part is that I think that to each their own. People voted based on different, reasons, I would say. Because when you also look at the numbers, a lot of people didn't also go out to vote. And for those people, they couldn't be bothered. They couldn't because, it's like the same old things we've seen and heard from both NDC and MPP. There were other people, but in this context, I mean, we know that it's either NDC or MPP. It's either the Republicans or the Democrats. That's what has become the order of the day. So I think that, yes, people see Mahama as a beacon of hope, in so many ways. But yes, say NDC, MPP. So because of that, Mahama was there. So yes, at least he did that. So let's go back and give him another chance. Let's see what he can give us for the next 4 years. Because if he also came back, lessons have been learned, mistakes have been corrected, and hopefully he's here to give us something better. So I think that people looked at all these things to say Sankofa Yenchi, why not? So yes, most people voted on that. And of course, the arrogance was there. It was in your face. So yes, for all that was worth, if you can't stand it, you had two options: either to go and vote against them or don't go and vote at all.
Okay. So posterity, indeed, it was a judge for Mahama. Would you agree?
Well, for Mahama, Mahama only did a comeback because really there's no third force.
Right.
There isn't. And for voter apathy, the voter apathy that we witnessed, Betuma MPP, my conscience will not forgive me. Into Obisan on Konkoto. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or you die hard. But when him say, he might be uncle ye. Or no, I mean, we meet MPP folks and they are struggling. Okay, into all no uncle to me. When they make a man this, they can measure them.
That's what people did.
What you are saying. But you know, truth be told, people are not expecting JM to come and perform any miracle.
Points of correction. People like you and I, but most people are.
But why?
There's very little he can do. I mean, with all the mess that's gone on this past 8 years, he has a lot of work to do.
Exactly. There's a whole.
If you listen or you hear from like the youth, especially, because let's not also rule the fact that the same free SHS na ye de were assume. Free SHS for omina to mama.
Amututia nanado.
Well, because it wasn't really.
It wasn't enough.
One next.
University.
Yeah.
So the burden has gone back to their parents.
Okay.
And so their parents are still
And then
struggling.
some of them even didn't
And so
enjoy
for all
the
that
free SHS.
reason, that is why.
Exactly.
So free SHS. Do you understand? So
He
that's
should
full of
just
thoughts in
take
there.
off the
Chacha.
was a problem for
Chacha
most
is
of the
everywhere.
youth.
Yeah, encouraging a man
No.
to chacha.
Oh, yes, sir, but
Let's
then-
encourage it. But
We should find another
even
way
when
of
you
dealing
travel
with
out
it.
there, betting, lottery, people win American. Is it not the same lottery?
Yeah.
Please, let's
They should find
let's
another way
stop
of
the
dealing with
hypocrisy.
it.
You think that people were
What is it?
overburdened with taxes, literally?
Exactly.
Yes.
You go to the port. Recently, I heard something. I don't want to put it out there. But when we're going back to their businesses. The members of the political party, MPP political party, is this happening?
Right.
Is this happening?
So Tina, let me cut in here. I had somebody telling me that, or no, when they cut the e-levy cake, was when she made up her mind that she wouldn't vote MPP again into power. So she voted NDC.
The impudence was too
What do you think was a deal
Trouble
breaker
cake.
for Ghanaians?
Your
Like, give me
face.
one thing that you feel this thing was a deal breaker for Ghanaians. Doc,
Oh, for me, I can't say just one thing. No.
you list them for me. Let's
See,
go.
you see, when you talked about the taxes on
Betting.
port,
Yeah.
I just
How did you know that's what-
I decided to just refer to a document just yesterday. A friend of mine is trying to bring in a vehicle, and we are trying to work on it.
Oh, you can't even change your
See,
car.
you have an import duty, import VAT, processing fee,
It's COVID
ECOWAS
there.
levy. Yes, vehicle
ECOWAS levy.
certification, vehicle examination fee,
COVID.
network charge VAT, network charge, COVID-19 health, Ghana Shippers Authority,
To clear a car.
Yes.
import NHR.
That way, if a car clearing.
BC, COVID-19.
And it's
government.
like the car, maybe you bought the car for, let's say, $9,000 or something, and you could pay more than.
Yes, you pay
This is
$20,000
a
here.
car. What's the name? What was it? This small vehicles. I don't know.
Vitz.
how-
Vitz.
Vitz.
It comes in a VIT form.
Matiz.
Matiz.
The duty, as it is 59,000. I'll say
So how much would the person even sell it?
A Range Rover.
Debbie. This is it. You can see it
Yet
for
if it's
yourself.
a car,
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
59,272.
the car back was to
clear that salon car.
Yes,
Right.
that small vehicle.
Why should we be?
You get it.
why?
Oh, okay.
Why should we be in this state?
Yes.
So after Obi the
Oh,
pen,
Suzuki, those
and then
cars,
the
Get one.
yeah,
Yeah.
get one.
and no determine for fee.
Exactly, because they can
every corner
afford.
car no yeah the chair.
Okay.
Now
And you
we emergency ya chair car. Now we ship ya ba okro. Now we bet you as na saska wo wo bia. Ka
So
ya
you
chair
would have-
car. no?
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
And then you see, you
yeah.
For those people, they
A
don't care.
leader-
They even more free.
Is it? At another point, he's the master. In fact, the driver. How do you speak from both sides of
When
your
it go-
back?
You need- at
Of
some point, you
course,
need to take
you
accountability.
Okay,
you
yeah.
needed to be straight with the people.
Yeah, I'll come to Baumia's point, but I just want to know the deal breakers for people that you think was top on the list. So
Well,
you've mentioned
me
the
from where I
courts.
sit.
Yeah.
From where I sit, I was hearing a lot, like the free SHS, that people have to, and apart from the people even saying it, we had a research that clearly identified that parents were paying, in fact,
Yeah.
70% of the total cost build for the build up for the SHS students, and that was crazy. I mean,
Yes.
if my child is going to school and I have to foot 70% of the bill, you ask yourself and take the list. you just
Yeah, so
be
it
wondering.
ends up not being free.
Exactly.
Tina, what was
That's
the deal
even-
breaker for you?
I'll get there, but it doesn't even end there with the free SHS. A parent, you need to send your ward money like every week to feed. PTA, I don't want to mention some names of some schools. PTA will contribute, cook for them, and then it's not even enough. They have to parents have to send money. It wasn't free. It was badly implemented. The kids themselves could tell you that. Because feeding, I'm not saying feed everything, but of course you need food to study. Apart from the feeding, even accommodation. How can you just get up and implement something without laying the foundation? You knew very well that when you say free, people would love to attend. And now, have you made the facilities clear or available for them to be in that school? No. You get there, you don't have a room or a bed to sleep on. So you go 3 months, you come. Before you come back, everything has erased. You can't do sleeping on
stay home
TikTok.
for like 5
and then,
months.
and then people will get pregnant in between and all that. It wasn't. Oh yes, I mean,
but I didn't know
somebody was
parents-
telling me to go around and
Was
talk
it
to the
age?
students because they are getting pregnant.
I know parents who had to pay
bad.
house mistresses
why
to
shouldn't
cook for
you
their
be
wards.
free?
Yeah,
So
Because the
teaching
food was
them.
so bad.
And you go and pay a private teacher at home to be teaching your child. If they take it in 1,000 cedis, 3 months that they are in the house, 3,000. So what is the? I mean, we all attended free SHS. It wasn't free. But one thing I also know in Ghana that most of the schools, government schools, tuition has always been free. Let's be honest.
yeah.
It was a feeding fee, boarding fee that we used to pay. Go and check the list or whatever. Tuition has always been free for most of the
Yeah, but
government
that
schools.
point about free SHS is very dicey. It looks like it can't be touched. You can work on it, but if you touch it, it will be like a deception to the Ghanaian
exactly.
Touch it like how?
You know, Ghanaians
Like taking it
kept
off the
asking that, will you scrap the free SHS?
No,
And President-elect John Mahama said, I will not.
You'll make
Yeah,
it
but
better.
I'll make it better.
But
so
the
the
evidences-
better has a lot of, things to be explained.
But there are evidences to show that John Dramani Mahama initiated the free SHS
course, progressively, yeah.
He only started doing the day. It was launched. There are videos at Ekumfi.
But at this point, we can't go back to just being the day.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why, in his wisdom, he started with the e-blocks, just so
Exactly.
that when they begin to roll out the full implementation of that policy, it will be able to accommodate the population that would.
No, my
run
point
into-
now is it's already been fully rolled out. So you can't come and take us back to where
Oh, no, no,
we
but
were.
the
You
e-block-
understand?
No, but he
Places like Septekbe and Co are talking about
Different
making it
views and- yeah,
only
someone is saying
day,
this and-
only the. And my problem is when politicians want power, they say certain things, and when they come into power, it's like, oh, now the reality has hit. So
I don't
we should
think
be
Yeah, but
very
for now,
Mahama
mindful.
has
Mahama
spoken to that
himself has
issue.
not really said
Anything
In fact, he has spoken
about
to the
it.
issue after Setekwe, the claims by Setekwe. It was his
Same
view,
view, okay.
his
It was his
opinion.
view.
And John Mahama has spoken to
I've
it
heard him
2 days
clearly
ago
on the
and said
even
that
VOA or so.
yes, he said
clearly that,
they will
yeah.
they will maintain it. The only problem is that free SHS has to get a dedicated fund,
great, and that's the. I mean,
and that is what John Mahama is saying that he's bringing. They're going to create a fund for it so that we can easily be sure
like-
that this is the funding
set aside for that
for the
purpose,
free
yeah.
SHS, so that we don't get the challenges that
We are
they
facing.
they are
I mean, it's
facing.
Okay, Aisha, let's bring in the Dr. Baumia factor.
Hey,
There's this contention about the fact that
is it because he
People-
and I come from the same village? That's why.
oh
you are
really? Oh, I
bringing
didn't
that to my,
I didn't know that.
We actually come from the same village.
But
Oh,
that's
I
nice.
see.
I'm
Which
Mampusi,
village
yes.
is that? Okay, Mampusi. Okay.
Mampusi.
You know that people are saying they didn't vote for Baumia because they want Akufo-Addo out. And others are saying they didn't vote for Baumia because they don't want Baumia himself, and that Baumia can't detach himself from the Akufo-Addo
Akufo-Addo.
administration,
Of course.
which is something which I find very difficult to do because you cannot be. Even Alan Chermante would have suffered the same thing because he was sort of like part of the.
He was
but
deeply
no,
there.
but it would have been
For
different.
almost 8
because
No, but his
it would
interviews,
have
he
been a
had
little
to-
bit different because
Yeah.
Alan was not Nanado's vice.
Yeah,
And they
that's
both
fine. But I'm
contested
saying that all
against
the
each other some time
interviews,
back. So
I'm
it would have
saying
been
all the
different.
interviews he actually granted during the period, that question came up. That how did he detach himself from the Akufo-Addo administration because he served under. And even recently, I've heard people like, I don't want to mention names, talk about the fact that Alan should have resigned even in the second,
the
you
second
know,
term, when they realized things
because
were bad.
exactly. So I'm just using that
For
as
me,
an
that is one of
example.
the reasons why he didn't even do well in the primary.
Absolutely. So
Because
I'm saying
he
that-
was there enjoying the parts of
And
the
now he wants
to-
and then all of a
that
sudden
is how people
you
say- so-
you
so
don't
do
get
you
what you
think-
are expecting or you thought you deserved.
So
and you
let
are
me,
pissed.
But
Aisha,
even
let me
those
go
who
to my
spoke up-
question. Please, I have a question.
Massa,
So let me go
bring
to my
the
question. My question is, you and Baumia come from the same village.
Hey, I don't
time
know if
he-
him when hey,
Next time he
this
didn't
is the
even-
opinion. Let me speak my
he
mind.
didn't even perform well in the northern
Assembly
part of the country.
Well,
I think
the
last 4
irony
years,
of life, because before he became the vice president, his inclusion actually added to the numbers
Yes.
in the north. But
So
when
you-
he himself came,
But this
it
time-
was,
So,
it was
so
the
what do you
reverse.
think accounted for that? Is it that Baumia is who we don't like? Or we don't like Baumia because of the track record of the Kufuor Baumia
Kufuor
administration?
Period. You just answered the
Kufuor
question.
factor.
I
The
don't think that
latter is the case.
I don't think that we don't like Baumia. I think he's a fine,
He's a fine
gentleman.
gentleman.
You know, you can't take that away from him. That man is super intelligent. You can't take that. He's somebody that we should be proud to have as a Ghanaian. You know, and where he's gotten to. So take that aside. I mean, I don't think that Ghanaians rejected him because he's not a better candidate. A legacy now. You did man no. Or the baby dear so. And I Ghana for sure won't pay.
No, but if you say legacy,
I'm
now, you're the
picking-
man,
I'm
are you
picking-
detaching
picking-
him from it?
He
Yeah,
did
no,
not
no, no.
he in there.
Of course.
You understand, because he's still the vice president until Mahama is sworn in. So it was a bit dicey for him. And
Yeah.
there were times I felt for him.
Yeah.
You know, because you can tell that Onyaya Nkobeka said a say. But because he's still strong, he's there. So he can't, because and so we had names for him, or your mates, or your Afeno Babaye driver.
And then he
all
mentioned
that.
some of the taxes
What-
when
what-
it comes to take
and
it
all
off. And
that,
we didn't understand.
You know, so
you are buying. Do
you
it
are
now.
there. You are the vice.
do
Honestly, you are second in command. You know, but it seemed as if he didn't have a take in any
Exactly.
decision that was, you know,
Okay, so
taken. So it didn't look good.
Yeah,
It didn't look good. So it's the
bring-
legacy that, you know, didn't go in his favor.
Okay,
Not
let me
necessarily as
bring
him
Zipporah
as,
in here.
as
Okay.
an individual.
Aisha has spoken about the fact that he couldn't detach himself from it.
No, he couldn't.
But didn't he anticipate? You see, I find it very ridiculous when politicians act as though they can't see certain things that you and I can see. For instance, as you finally said, when they were going to vote for their flag bearer, didn't they anticipate that he will have those problems?
No, I'm not sure they did.
Why didn't they? Because I could sit comfortably in my home and know
Because
that
from where
they
they
have
sit,
problems.
I mean, they don't.
We're all journalists. Didn't you hear it all over? People saying that. I mean, you speak to you. We all have friends in both MPP and NDC.
Yeah.
And you talk with them, and they will tell you you are in Accra and you are talking.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
to the rural areas and
see what's happening.
And they said it to their full chest.
Yeah.
You know that.
Somebody
voting
actually
cry
told
na
me,
wo kasa.
I actually asked someone that.
So we heard them.
Baumia campaign ne ko say, oh sang. First no na nko yie kra na se se de omu ye adwuma. Oh Baumia ye good or ye adwuma. I'm like, hey, how
They
you
were
say
just
sharing
for
money?
food. They were just.
You know,
Sharing
so
People-
you know, sometimes we want to tickle ourselves and
Yeah,
laugh,
they were
you know,
just-
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing it,
Let me
but
allow you to
Maybe
make
for
your
some
point.
reason too, they didn't really believe that we were going through something. The citizenry were going through
Couldn't
something.
they see?
Oh, are you sure? The
I
president has
felt
said
like
this
maybe-
anyway.
He felt everything
Or
was
maybe they
okay.
thought-
they
They
tell
tell me
that
the story.
the free SHS was so good.
I
to
mean,
us.
yes,
everything
because
was real.
it was
We
free.
should use that to,
It
you
should
know,
suffice
justify
for
everything.
whatever
Exactly.
agony
Maybe.
we are going through or whatever
Me,
hardship we
I
are
didn't
going
even
through.
benefit from free SHS. My
Exactly.
children did not even benefit from free SHS.
Right.
So,
So
which
which
one
one
is
is
my
yours?
own now?
Okay, so from what Aisha you just said and you, I'll come back to let me come to Tina. Do you think the Ghanaian votes we vote based on our pocket, or we vote based on things that you know, social
Doctor is laughing.
interventions?
You ask the same questions
to be
and he
honest,
gets so
to be
tickled.
honest.
You know, social interventions. I don't know why my questions are tickling him and
be
he's just
very
saying
fair. They are not almost that, but I'm not that. But like, to be very honest,
Tina,
people-
dear, from this program, who said, or your NDC spokesperson.
Oh, na say Tina,
And
you
the
okay
FPD.
to us.
And the
Yes, I
FPD.
said, John Mama, or Shapia, Miss Rao.
Hey, Susubu. Tina, let's go.
you see, with the policies and all that, the glaring one for NDC was the 24-hour economy.
Yes.
And then
It's a fantastic
Baumia
policy.
was talking about digitalization.
Common
And then we
digital.
know from where we stand that digitalization comes with education. Where are we as Ghanaians? Most of the people don't even understand basic things that happens on the phone. Don't talk about even using all those stuff. So to some people it was like very confusing. Me bra I would say digitalization, me the hear them. And somebody is telling me 24-hour economy. Me papa nye ejuma ye. Me nua be nye ofa be nye ejuma ye.
Ebe run a shift.
You will run a shift so everybody will be comfortable. Which one will you go for? And then they change it later and will say Mahama is doing kokon ketenkete. It didn't make sense. But what he mentioned kokon ketenkete is for us to feed and then be able to even, because now most Ghanaians growing up we used to have fowls in the house, lot of them. So we don't even buy chicken.
Backyard garden.
And
You know the Nkukwan Ketenkete was even in their budget for 2020. Nana Akufo-Addo's budget for 2020. And those watching, her budget anymore. Paragraph 273. It is there. Also, he will give 8
But you realize that Bawumia at a point in time was crippling Mahama's campaign when Mahama said kidney free dialysis, and then when he comes, then suddenly they change the message from 1st December we are doing free dialysis.
It wasn't even free.
All of those things that they were doing, they were just more like only bring Ghana for
and then the Basel people, I heard
the free dialysis, it had a threshold. There were some age brackets between, it was from Kwada, from 11 years or so, if my memory serves me right, 11 years down, and then 65 up. But we share data now. Omunya dialysis now between from 15 to 50 something for and a dozen. That's where it's they get that. So they were just playing the usual politicking and being smart at it to make Ghanaians feel like.
Of course.
Something I also found intriguing in this whole electioneering was the fact that they talked about busing people. I heard General Asiedun Ketia, if I remember so clearly, say that they didn't want to bus people to constituencies because they wanted to see the actual numbers on the ground, organic. And he wanted to know based on experience from 2016. But I don't know of the MPP. It looked like they decided to bus people so that people will also feel the artificial numbers to think
they
that
needed it desperately.
They wanted.
If you ask me,
you think that it's something that also went against them.
After the number game, it's always been there. Politicians, we all need it. We all do. Sometimes when you look at the dynamics, you need to do certain things for the optics. You understand? So it's normal. But at the end of the day, you know your smoothness level when the DJ comes.
But you know that some people went to vote and then the buses never brought them back after MPP lost.
Oh yes.
I mean,
there was a situation at my constituency like that. A woman who came from all the way from Goso, and after that it became a huge. I had to personally call.
What constituency is that?
Botiano English Amount from constituency, and I had to personally call the NPP. One of the executives who is my friend, I had to call him to come over so that we find a solution. In fact, we had to help to find
the
MPP
woman. People.
Yes. In fact, just one, a woman
but you don't
in her
do
late
that.
60s.
You need them in 4 years.
So I
you
have
cannot
a
leave
lot of
them there
questions.
like that.
It looks like my time is getting up. Let me come to you, Aisha. A quick one. Do you think Bawumia considered defeat too early or it was very timely? Very briefly.
Very timely. We needed it, and I mean, I think that by doing that, he even earned more of our love and our respect. It was very timely.
Okay. When it comes to the parliamentarians, let me come to you quickly. Bawumia has conceded defeat. It looks like there are a lot of brouhaha concerning or surrounding the parliamentarians. And someone was telling me because NPP wants to get a little bit in the minority, even though they are now micro minority, they want to get a bit. But someone was also arguing. The parliamentarians want to still remain in power, so they are trying to clutch on straws. What do you think it's?
What would you have done if it was you?
I don't know.
You would have done same. I mean, to go home for about 4 years, it's not going to be easy for them.
So
every opportunity you have, every ways and means you can use to win your seat or get in seat to declare, you will go for it. You understand? But really, if you lost, just accept and let's move on. Because there's been chaos. I mean, some seats are still in contention, right?
9.
And
9 seats.
Nine
Okay.
constituencies.
Yeah, 9.
So if you lost, please let's
move on.
come back next 4 years.
But again, I also think that, I mean, in all fairness, it's not the first time somebody is losing to another. NPP and DC, they are friends, so they are friends. You should see them. But I also feel that the NDC people are being very greedy. Greedy in the sense,
madam.
You
Greedy
know
is
what we need about.
Onya kakraja.
Manya kakra. I think
They
want all.
And yes, and yeah, they want.
Spokesperson, Mr. Mamekasa.
They want all.
Mr. Mamekasa. I said, I think you're more person to take a genie now. See,
And yeah,
when we need 20 seats, money be crowded. You know, how the other day I heard the electoral commissioner speak, and I felt sorry for her. Mami, no, you know, I mean, she was like, she was like the police. Men kasa mo bia me come this is my opinion and speaking my opinion what the way mama men make sure say president elect obeba be ma eduma no be wuye
And go for mestre
on the opinion I would love to know that who here 24-hour economy eduma say many better. Having said that, honestly, that's from another school of thought, you would see it may seem as though and it's for when you're more than majority.
Yeah.
When you're dear muye, what's it? Nine, no. When you're more fine people for
They
the
want a massive.
Somebody will watch it.
Aisha, it's not about
Well, we need the energy.
NDC in more until Munja Maninka.
Where's
They're done 1 from 12.
I was saying that too. I know they are more for that.
And no issue never was the same.
I know they are more for that.
And no issue never was the same.
Especially to where we
if you are correct and I am from Mranoa. That governs the election, the 2024 election.
I get it completely.
If we don't ensure say it is used properly now, you will have a lot of problems.
Okay, so
the subsequent elections will be dangerous.
Should resign or should be fired?
Oh, fired saying no, that's too harsh a word if I should. But of course, we all know that when a new government comes, they try to.
It's a good practice, really.
No, when it comes to EC, to be very honest, the person that, for me, in my opinion, I felt Anado shouldn't have touched was Charlotte, because I didn't see anything bad. She did amazing. Charlotte will come out and announce whether my party is in power or not. But we saw what happened last year. It's like tension. Now, even to submit papers, you have to go through with all the military and all that. It's like Jane didn't live up to expectations, in my opinion. So Charlotte did amazing. So she should quickly resign. Because fire in there, one fire can for your brain also feel because she didn't do the job.
I think the chaos with this current EC was
the
too much.
shooting up till now.
Okay.
Anyway, when declared.
So finally, you think Mahama will leave a legacy? You think that's my wrap up? You
Yes.
think Mahama will leave a legacy?
I think so. In fact, he would have no excuse.
That's right.
And it's for him and his party, with the NDC party. Or any year, the better for the party moving into 2028.
All right. So thank you so much for this part of the program. We'll come back again with the second part. That is where I'm very much interested in. We are going to talk women in politics. We are looking at the numbers in parliament currently and what we need to do to get more numbers in parliament. Don't go away. This is The Opinion. We'll be right back. For your time and for waiting for us right here. This is The Opinion on Lifestyle TV and also on YouTube. We are still here. My name is Samohi Tete and I'm still here with my co-host and our guest, Dr. Annan. And we delve into the next discussion, which is looking at women in politics. the numbers, and you know we normally gauge the numbers based on the number of parliamentarians we have from this current election. So we know that we had 40 women in the last parliament. That's the 8th parliament. Now the 9th parliament, because there are still some seats which haven't been announced, they are still under contention. So the numbers we are anticipating between 42 to 44, which is a tad higher than that of the 8th parliament. Doc, I'll start with you. Do you think there's enough progress?
I don't think it's enough progress, because there are a lot of women who picked up forms this time around to run the elections. Unfortunately, it became more like +1 minus 1, because when you look at the Crosby lost to an independent male who is also an NDC but decided to go independent. And so for me, it's not impressive.
Esther losing to a man.
Osla losing to a male. And fine, Awutu Senya East, fine, we were two ladies.
Yeah, two ladies.
So
it looks like probably Adwo's constituency will also have
female
and then
that is if
Adwoa
because is in contention. I don't want to go there.
The man was
but we are saying that the fact that if the woman is announced ultimate winner, it becomes her replacing a female, and also for Ablekuma North,
and then Tema Central, Ebi Bright
coming for a man.
Exactly.
Because the sitting MP was a man.
Because the sitting MP was a man.
Okay. Hansen.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Tina, is resulting in the drag? You know, the kind of drag in women not getting the number of seats that we anticipate they would get.
Unlike when it comes to politics, unlike the way men, they're able to get mentorship even from the beginning. People single-handedly pick people from constituencies and groom them when it comes to the male version. But I don't see that happening with the women. I don't know why. I don't know if...
But a few women I've heard, like Hannah Bisu, for example, had mentioned the fact that, you know, men will always want something in exchange before they
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm mentioning that.
I can't help but say
a man picking a man to actually mentor would not ask for sex.
Yeah.
But if it's a woman, and because men were always there, I mean, they were in politics more. So if the constituency or things need to change and they have to bring a woman, it means you have to learn under that person. And how well, I mean, even your husband, be honest, we can't take that aspect out. Women are somehow victimized, somehow. Because you go like, if once you don't give me what I want, I will also push you to the top.
Okay.
So because of that, lots of women are afraid. Unless the daring ones who will stand to their grounds that, I'll not let you sleep with me, but I still want to go for that position.
Okay.
If not, we will see lots of women behind, because some are even afraid. Some women even telling their husbands, I want to pick up a form. The husband will discourage them that, hey, even normal jobs, some jobs, people don't even want their wives to do it. Politics, women into politics, look at how people even see them. Hey, wait, they need heading. Meanwhile, a soft man in politics, they don't say they need heading. But when there's a woman,
soft man and be in politics.
But so
I wanted to bring Aisha in here. It looks like for a woman, as I said, when you need to be that extra. And if you are extra to, like as who has been suffering, they will say, hey, and Obabema and all that. You think that we are too hard on women when it comes to politics? Or you just think that the women in politics are themselves too hard?
It's still a man's world. You know, in as much as we want to make it look like, what a man can do, a woman can do it better. It is still a match. To be able to be seen and to be accepted and to be recognized and to be acknowledged. So that is a fact, and it's not just a Ghanaian venture into it. You need to be, you need to have a tough skin. You need to be, you know, daring enough to, because it comes with a lot of things that if you are not that strong-willed, I believe that you are getters, and so they will give you all the names. Margaret Thatcher and Kominini and all that. But I think that you shouldn't just go into politics because you want to add to the numbers. As a woman, you should go because you have a mission and a purpose to achieve. And so, and also understand that it's not going to be easy, you know, and, you know, people are going to come against, attack you and all those things. But for God and
Someone
country,
I'll add something because I'll
women would still, we have a lot to give to the society. So I also believe that we should be given the chance and the opportunity.
Yeah, Tina, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, Lady A, you mentioned don't just go and just add to the numbers. That's one thing I've realized. Well, anytime we are talking, we are looking at more women representation. But the ones that are there, what are they?
Bill to be
Listen,
passed.
Stand down and watch
Mami
them
Rie,
tax our blood.
Mami Rie, the sanitary towel thing, look at the number of women
Tax
there.
our blood.
And the men there, they have wives, they have daughters. The women there, that been now omaba out to campaign or beg that government should take taxes off at least sanitary towel. So the ones there, apart from the affirmative bill that we're talking about, what are some of the things that they are
Let's feel
doing that
your
will help?
impact.
Let's be honest. Let's feel them. If you are not feeling them, we don't want you there. And some people in their constituency, I don't know, once on the shows I mentioned, people feel when the women are MPs, they are not kind. But when the men, they give money out,
generous.
they are very generous. They will date your sister
But
or
it's not
them.
the same people who said that
yes.
the MPs were sharing money and they didn't.
And no,
vote for
yeah,
them.
because I don't know yet. Not in that. You see, that one was just for elections. But when an MP is in your area, we have like
enjoy.
let's say 5 or 10 girlfriends in the constituency. Different.
And MPs should do their job.
Let's not pretend we don't know.
It's so true, it's true.
Almost see. Odru Afan say this constituency town way, even if it's this
I can't get in every town like that.
So at
Can
least
they be dating in
they will
every
be,
town?
the families will
down.
be benefiting. But they're not.
Yeah.
Oh no, Sikandi.
Yeah, but
No, when they be
let me ask you this before because my time is limited. I wrote on Facebook that appoint more women, and somebody just came to write down there, Cecilia Dapa. I wanted to answer, then I
the first
said,
person who was stolen from.
like
Allegedly.
Cecilia
Because she's
Dapa.
a
Okay, so
woman.
one woman,
I think
and someone will come and write Adwa Safo.
That's what she
Because of how she behaved during,
Yes,
her
yeah,
whole
Kaho,
tenure
yeah,
and
Kaho.
all that. No, but two
Men-
women.
but men
And you
also they
think
do
that
You want to-
we have seen a lot of men being jailed for corruption. You know, so many men. I mean, we
But
can
you
talk
see,
about
the reason why they're talking is
we can talk about even,
so some of the women when you go there work.
no,
That's all.
but
But
you
we'll
see,
shut
yeah,
it
that's
down.
it.
We'll shut it
No,
down.
no,
The
no,
same
no.
way they give
No.
men
It
the
isn't
room
fair.
to
No,
make
it
this
isn't fair.
if more or less
They should
divide.
do same
The
for
women are
us.
just 40
please,
against
I manage,
200 and something.
One house.
You understand?
Give us the opportunity to make our own mistakes.
Exactly.
Give us room.
Absolutely.
The same way you give these men room, do same for us.
No, you mentioned
Stop
Cecilia
putting
Dapa,
us under.
Adwa Safo. And
Just
look
to-
at the numbers, the number of men who've gone through these things, being jailed, actually being jailed. They've been in prison. Is it? We even know Chachuchikata and all that had their own issues. Why is it that when a woman suffers something little, they want to use that to classify all women?
It's not like they are classified women. I think the women did it
I
extra.
want
in
no,
our
what's
Facebook
the
for
extra?
lesbians.
I don't
It was
buy
extra.
that.
If you
I
ask
don't-
someone in this government,
So
more
why
people
are we being hard?
because her own is out.
Tina Molika.
that doesn't mean that-
Okay,
Allegedly.
allegedly, please.
Allegedly.
I don't want any
mean that-
court case.
that doesn't mean that-
Allegedly,
Hold on,
Bacho.
let's-
Yeah, their opinion.
I am
of
taking
course.
cues. I'm taking a lot
Sorry.
of cues from the
No,
narration
Sasi,
that
you didn't let
is
me
going on,
finish.
and I agree with
Zip.
Zipporah.
Zip that the ladies and the women should be allowed to do their own mistakes and given the space to correct it. I agree entirely. I think that is the way to go. It shouldn't be business as usual. And then the narrative that women are their own evil
Enemies.
and enemies and all that. But at least there's been precedence. Women have been given some big responsibilities in government. For example, Professor Mills appointed the first female Speaker of Parliament, Justice Bamford.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
my memory serves. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we are having an NDC government coming again with the first female vice president. I think that it should be enough motivation for all of you to aspire. Feel good. And I'm saying that when you look at the affirmative bill, which was passed in 30th July 2024, it looks very good. And look at it critically. And this one is a challenge to all of you. Mona,
We are very
Munko document in Mona, take advantage of it because eye opener power. So I mean that is it.
But people are saying that the document is there. So I'm coming back to you. But then implementation is also another level. I hear the people, I mean, I'm part of the Affirmative Action Law Coalition now. At first it was Bill. So, and we were led by Madam Lawyer Sheila Menka Premu. And she was saying that, yes, this year we couldn't, because it was just passed, there wasn't much they could do. But Rwanda and the other countries have done, because now we have Kenya having its first. Which country now has a female
Namibia.
president?
Namibia.
So is it
Their
that
first
we
president
need
is
to also
a woman.
take a moment to congratulate our first
ever?
ever female vice president.
Jane.
Just saying.
Mama Jane, won't
Professor
pass what?
But
Jane.
Mama is a man.
Congratulations to you. I mean, regardless of your political affiliation, this is something we as women must come together and celebrate. Put the party colors aside. Let's celebrate this victory because it shows that there's hope for you and I.
Exactly.
There's hope for the newborn baby girl. Okay, there's a future for us. We will not always stay at the back. And women need it. But
I saw a video from Kumasi.
So think
And then somebody said they will not vote because the woman.
champion. No more female president.
Exactly. So this needs to be celebrated.
Oh no, Ghana for her.
It comes back to my question, please. I want to find out. Do you think she can make that difference, or we are like overburdening her? It looks like everybody is looking up to her. She can be the savior, the messiah for the women.
This woman is a big deal.
Yeah. Big deal.
Forget about the fact that or the first woman. The woman is a big deal.
She knows what she's about.
10 degrees as a 10 masters. Hey!
I said that she managed UCC very well.
It's a big deal. She's a heavyweight.
Yes.
You know, so like Zippo said, this is something that we should, you know, be proud of. It should be encouraging for a lot of young women to know that, you know what, you know, one of my favorite Bible verse. We can do all things
through Christ.
Through Christ, who strengthens us.
Okay,
sister, it is possible.
Yeah,
it is possible for women to really get to this, you know,
Tina,
stage
let
and
me
more.
bring you in here.
Honestly,
you know, when I was home, I watched a lot of television, listened to a lot of discussions going on about Professor Nana Jane and all that. And what I found mind-boggling was the fact that did people really vote for NDC because they had a female vice president?
That's unfortunate.
Did they count? Or we looked at the pedigree of the VP and the president, and then the trust we have in the other party, and then they are
to be very honest, interested. People were not interested. They were interested in JM coming. The reason is, you check the list, who else if not JM? And then again, if JM would had picked a weaker person too, would have affected him.
So now that comes back to my main point.
Yes.
That people always say, we are not ready for a female this. We are not ready for a female that. But when you are voting, you don't even consider whether the person is female or male.
Exactly.
You consider the competence of the person.
Exactly.
So this was like JM and Nana, Professor Nana, against Baumia and Napo. And that was it. It wasn't about whether she was female or male.
Exactly.
So why is it that people say Ghana is not ready for a female?
No, but Ghana most of the time it was Mahama versus
I feel that
not even Napo. Napo was not even in the picture.
I feel that is just rhetoric. I want to say, and I believe that the ticket, the John Mahama Jane ticket, Jane had an influence in this election.
Exactly.
Because
as a female,
I wanted to see a woman up there.
whether as a female or as a human being, she had an impact.
And the credentials
Because
she
at the end of the day, people were
Yes.
looking at even the running mate tickets. Some people, I have a lot of people who were just, they knew what JM can do. And they knew what Dr. Mahmoud Baumia was made of. Now they are looking at the backup. Because at the end of the day, he or she becomes the number 2 if the president is not around. I think that the woman is heavy. So we should, in the absence of the president, the woman can really, I mean.
I think it's time to wrap up. So that's about it. I think that, the message is clear. A lot of expectations of this coming government, that's the Mahama-led administration. Of course, we wish the MPP well as they go and put their party together and show up again in 2024. We hope that they 2028. Thank you, and we hope that they become a good opposition and hold government accountable, so we all get the progress that we wish Ghana to get. I'll come back quickly with a hack before we wrap up the show. Opinion. We are still here, but we are about to say goodbye. But before we do that, I have Zip, who has a little hack for us in the kitchen. Of course, she's a mom, so she wants to give us some cooking hack during this Yuletide. Zip,
okay, so we all know that plantain is in season, so it will be prudent to buy them in large quantities, wash them, chop them into pieces, and put them in your deep freezers. It will stay fresh. Anytime you need it, to just bring it out, wait for it to thaw, and then you use it. Okay.
All right. So thank you.
So it won't get black or anything.
No. Just make sure it's well frozen.
Okay.
Yes. Nothing will happen to it.
But let me be diabolical under this doom CSC.
I don't know, but I have not experienced it.
I do experience.
I do experience it.
It's in the system.
Is it
Doom
the Doom CSC era will soon be over, they say. All right, so I think we had a very wonderful time here. It's always an excitement to come your way on The Opinion. Before we leave, let me say thank you to my guests who did us the honors, because he doesn't have time at all. Dr. Kofi Annan. Not the Kofi Annan but yes.
No,
Kofi Annan and next, right?
May God rest his soul.
Dr. Annan, we hope that you enjoy the show with us. We love to have you on the set, because we're used to being four ladies.
And ladies.
Not just a man, a gentleman, but a fine gentleman.
Yeah.
So fine.
Very
Are you single?
Oh, no.
This kind of questions you don't answer in public.
I get it. So why did you ask that kind of question?
No, it's Tina who asked.
Tina, you asked that question.
Not say to me out.
Hey, Debbie,
Okay, I'm picking. So he's a consultant and he's also a politician as well. It's been me, Sam Wakitete, doing this with Zipporah and Tina
Malika.
Love your last name. I really love your last name.
Thank
you. And then with Zainab.
I know you miss her.
Yeah,
you miss her. I get it, but please don't change my name.
No, I wouldn't change your name.
Zainab Aisha Passa.
All right. So yeah, till we meet again next time with New Year resolutions. We love you. Always tune into The Opinion on Lifestyle TV and also watch us on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.